guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys is another DC movie review. I know it's been a hot minute since we've done a DC film. I think the last one was in fact Black Adam, but this one is Shazam 2, aka Shazam Fury of the Gods. It should be goddesses, but whatever. So I'm not going to spoil it, because I know it is still fairly new in theaters. I know no one is seeing it in theaters. In fact, I'm pretty much, I think, the only one I know that is actually gonna see it in theaters. It's making no freaking money. It is tanking big time, and it's a huge financial bomb for DC. And critically, to an extent, it's like, I don't know, 50-something. But anyway, we're gonna review it. So, yeah, I saw it, and I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it a whole lot. Because I enjoyed the first Shazam, but that first movie was kind of like an DCEU film. I kind of think Shazam is up there with like Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 1, you know, Justice League 2017, I don't know, Man of Steel, I don't know. It's good, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite DCEU film. In fact, I felt Shazam was more of a family comedy than it was a superhero film. But I did enjoy it. I don't hate it. I enjoyed it. This one I feel like they really course-corrected, and they actually give you more DC lore. They give you more lore around the you know, Shazam himself, Billy Batson, and all of his buddies. The Wizard is in this a heck of a lot more than he was in the first one, which is good. There's a lot of unique things in that aspect, but there's also just a lot more action, a lot more CGI, and a lot more plot. And I think that's all the better for it. I'm not necessarily sure why this film is not doing too well, at least critically. I don't get it. I think it is a far superior film than Shazam 1. And in fact, I think it's one of the funniest DCEU films, or one of the funniest DC films I think ever made. You know, I wasn't laughing my buns off every 5 seconds, but I was laughing quite a lot. I did enjoy my time with it. So I think it's cool. You know, Shazam and they're trying to basically figure out how to save the world from these goddesses, and you know, they're in the trailer and all that. The trailer doesn't do a great job necessarily at kind of showing you what's going on, because Billy and Freddy, they kind of meet these people and these goddesses. One's like an older American, one's an older Asian, oldish Asian, and then the other one is someone which I won't mention because there's a spoiler in there. But those two women are in the trailer, and there's really no gods unless you count Shazam, which I don't know. I mean, maybe the Wizard, I don't know, but it's really goddesses. So that's, you know, it is what it is. But I think there was a better plot in there, and again, it's hard to review this film without necessarily giving too much away, because there's a lot to give away, surprisingly. But I would just want to briefly talk about the quality of the film. It is good. As a CGI, better than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's all I'm going to say. There's one shot where they're on a balcony, Freddy, Captain, or whatever his name, Captain Every Power or whatever, he's talking to some girl, some lady, on like a roof of a building, and that was a bit wonky. You know, there's one or two shots where they're on these ponies, or unicorns or whatever. Again, it's in the trailer. I don't know, but you know, there is a giant-ass dragon in the film, so that's cool, and that looks good. So, you know, the big stuff that counts, it looks good, and I quite enjoyed it. So CGI gets a pretty good A-OK score for me. It's not the best ever. It's not Aquaman, you know what I mean? But it's sure way freaking better than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania for sure. Acting, it's a DC film. You're basically getting good acting across the board. Again, the characterization and the characters themselves, the writing. Yeah, for anyone wondering, there is one woke thing where one of the guys is gay, and he mentions it. He's looking at a book of like a half-naked dude. That was cringy. Again, as a straight dude, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk about it briefly. It's in there. It has nothing to do with the plot. In fact, it really should be a negative. I'm not going to count it as a negative because I know it's going to be World War III in the comments. But specifically why it would be a negative isn't because it is woke. And yeah, I disagree with the woke stuff. But that him being gay, when he mentions it, it's a throwaway line. It makes no impact to the plot. It's just there to be there. Much like a lot of the inclusion stuff they're doing. And it's just whatever. It's just a, you know, they said it and they just threw it in the dumpster. Check the box, you know what I mean? That's all it was. It has no impact on the story whatsoever, and in fact, it was just kind of a cringy moment. For me, at least, again, I was basically the only one in my theater, so no one else was doing anything, because it was me and presumably God, because that was me and him were the only person, me and Jesus were the only people in the freaking theater, I tell you. But yeah, I thought it was, other than a few, you know, that one woke thing where it really had nothing to do with anything, just there to be there. The writing is good. I think that it's funny. Again, there's a lot of jokes where they could have been hit and miss. And Shazam is kind of one of those characters where it's like, you know, he's, in the first movie, you know, he's flossing, doing his Fortnite dances, you know, whatever. whatever, and it is what it is, you know. But this film, it is a lot funnier, right? The writing is better, I think, because again, they do go into that DC lore a lot more than you'd expect in the first film, right? Obviously, the first film is more of an origin story. This one, you know the characters, you know the world. It's just get right to it and have fun. So overall, man, like I said, I really freaking liked it. It's a emotional film. It is a funny movie. It has some pretty cool action scenes. It has a really cool cameo by the director, which is cool. David F. Sandberg. There's, of course, the Annabelle doll, which, of course, the director of the Shazam duology made the Annabelle films, which I don't know if that means Annabelle in the Conjuring universe is canon to DCEU. I doubt it, but I'm a giant canon guy. You know what I mean? If you're dropping E.T. in The Phantom Menace, you're damn well sure E.T. is canon to Star Wars, alright? It is what it is. Star Wars especially, Ninjago especially, Marvel, those, you know, when something is quote-unquote canon or there's a reference to something else, more importantly, it usually is part of that world. Annabelle being in the DCEU, I'm not sure. I think it might just be a, you know, clever callback to one of the director's other films. I'm not sure if that is, in fact, you know, in the lore or not. If you know anything, tell me in the comments. I'm assuming it's just a reference. And then there is another Shazam Easter egg to a specific part of DC lore that is, all I'm going to say is that it's from a TV show. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what it is or who it is. It's just, it's a character from a DC show that's in the movie. I didn't see this show. I don't think I ever will, but I know about it because I'm a franchise fanatic. I haven't seen half this shite, but I know about it, and I know a lot about it, in fact, and there's a character in that's in this, and it is, I noticed it, and I think if you're a DC fan, you probably will too. But yeah, the cameos are good, of course. That leads me to a subsection of this review, which I'm going to mention, the James Gunnifying of this film, because the reason why, and I nailed it, alright, I used my brain, the reason why this movie is tanking so bad is two words. I'm gonna give you a second to think about it. Okay, it's seconds over. It's James Gunn. Okay, now look, you can say whatever you want. He's a pedophile. He's a weirdo. He's whatever the crap is online. That's about it. I think he makes decent films. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. The holiday special was a bit woke, but it was alright. I didn't see Slither. I think he did that. He had a helping hand on Brightburn, I believe. So a lot of, he did, of course, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker for DC. So, of course, he is basically him and Peter Safran. They're basically the two dudes. Those two guys are essentially Kevin Feige of the DCU going forward, right? We all know about that. The Flash film is going to essentially reset the DCEU. So basically, the DCEU going forward into the new and improved, apparently, DCU to rival the MCU, all of this shite, all the way from Man of Steel to basically The Flash, and including this film. I'm not entirely sure if all of it is going to be rebooted, but James Gunn is rebooting the DCU. And he essentially came out and said online, hey, half this shite doesn't matter anymore, and whatever. We're going to move forward, right? It's going to be Gods and Monsters, and we're going to have new Superman, new Batman. We don't know, Dwayne Johnson is not Black Adam anymore. He's done, and Henry Cavill's out, and Gal Gadot's out, and Shazam is maybe. I don't know. It's a complete crap show over at DC right now. And yes, I'm excited for the new DCU, but the fact that they are handling this so effing bad, like, it takes really, it takes dead brain cells on the highest level to market your new and improved canon by just wrecking what's coming out. Like, when he said that Black Adam, Superman, end credit scene, oh my god, Henry Cavill's back! A week later, he's fired. That's it, he's gone. This thing comes out. Oh man, we're kind of desperate for views, right? Because again, James Gunn marketed the new DCU as being basically a quote-unquote reset. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is not part of the DCU, it's part of the DCEU, the thing we're in now, right? From Man of Steel to whatever. So the fact that there is this total unsureness of what's going on, of who's in charge, of who's going forward, and who's leaving, and who's what, it really is confusing for even me, a hardcore DC fan, to really understand what the F is going on. And because of that, a lot of people who aren't hardcore fans, such as myself, or presumably you, it is kind of a bombshell, and that's why this film is tanking. Because people don't care. And that's the sad part, is that people nowadays, they expect every movie to connect to another movie, like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania isn't, it's the third Ant-Man movie, but it really is setting up the bigger Phase 5 with Kang and the multiverse shite, all that. And that's the bad part, is that, I love when films connect, like the Ant-Man or, whatever. I like the MCU, I love the DCEU, I love the Skywalker saga, I love all that stuff. But not everything has to connect, right? And a lot of people, it should. And the fact that people are just kind of aware that, yeah, this film, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, this thing isn't leading to anything. All these crazy after credit scenes and all this stuff, who knows if it's going to count? So that's why no one's seeing it. Not because of the poor reviews, but because no one knows where this is leading to. No one knows the future of this franchise, and therefore no one gives two shites about Shazam. Because, okay, cool. They marketed the trailer and Wonder Woman's in the trailer. The director, Zachary Levi, the guy that plays Shazam, he was all pissed off. He's like, oh man, DC, they know. You know what I mean? They know no one's going to see this movie. So what do? Let's put Wonder Woman in the trailer. Oh, that'll get him, right? They love Gal Gadot. I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I think she's the best incarnation of the character. I still have not seen Wonder Woman 1984. I have to. But I didn't love the first film, but I love her as Wonder Woman. Besides being hot and all that, she is a good character. She's portraying her, I think, pretty well. The first movie didn't do a great job in my opinion, but I think genuinely she's a good Wonder Woman. So of course, let's just throw her in the trailer. That'll get them to watch it, right? Well, that didn't happen. Movie effing bombed. It's tanking. It's one of the lowest DC films of all time at the theater. And that just, again, is proof that no one knows what's going on. And this is not going to go anywhere. So people are asking themselves, why should I care? Why should I go out and see this movie if there's no point to seeing this movie? Now, how about this? I saw the movie because I'm a DC fan and it looked good and I wanted to see a fun movie. You know what I mean? Yes, I would have liked it to have, and it might lead somewhere. I think Shazam might be in the new DCU going forward, but not everything has to connect. So if you're worried and you're like, oh man, I don't know if this is gonna be canon now, just go out and see the effing movie. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's funny. It's action-packed. It's endearing. It's heartwarming. It's basically everything I wanted the first film to be and more. Again, there's one or two throwaway lines that make no freaking sense, and it's just there to be there. Not all the comedy lands. Some of the CGI is a bit hit and miss, but again, it's a good film. It is better than what I thought it was going to be, and it's a lot better than the first one. Again, that's coming from a guy, I enjoyed the first Shazam movie. I don't hate it. I love it. I have it on Blu-ray. But I just think that Fury of the Gods is a better film in that aspect. It's funnier. Again, the wizard is in it more, so they have a lot more characterization. So it's overall a really fun time. Not my favorite DCEU film, but it's nowhere near a stinker. And I think if you do like DC, if you like the first film, if you just enjoy these DC characters and you want a good action-packed superhero film, I would recommend seeing Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Again, it might not lead anywhere. James Gunn is completely butchering everything in spite of him, in fact, saying that he's going to fix everything. Now, me personally, I think the DCEU didn't need fixing. I'm one of the rare people that actually almost loved every movie in the DCEU. I don't think that there had to be a reset or a, obviously the MCU is better because it just is, which I can go on a future video about that. But again, overall though, it's a good movie, and it's really sad that no one is seeing it because of all this dumb confusion regarding... If James Gunn waited like another year to do this, when there was more shit to show, I think maybe people would go see it. But again, Black Adam made more money than this. I thought Shazam 2 would make more money, but no. Black Adam got a lot more money in the domestic box office. Now, look, Shazam 2 is not over. Alright, it's still fairly new to theaters, so this could change. But right now, not looking too hot for DC and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. However, I myself enjoyed it. I'm going to give Shazam! Fury of the Gods an A-. I think it is far better than the first film, and it's definitely a film that you should see if you like DC. Again, it's a shame that no one is, due to all this confusion, but hopefully people can wise up and just say, hey, I want to watch a fun, action-packed film, and just go freaking see it, because it's a film that needs to be seen at the theaters. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.